Hello friends, my name is Marines, and today I want to talk to you about my most recent reads. Book number 4 of the year was actually a graphic novel, and that was Fables, the Deluxe Edition Volume 2 by Bill Willingham. I've talked about this graphic novel series before because I am thoroughly enjoying it. It's about a bunch of fairy tale characters that are living in New York City after they've been driven out of their fairy tale lands. My favorite thing about this series so far is that it goes back and forth between looking at a character's past in the form of retelling a fairy tale and then looking at how they're living now in New York City and the kinds of problems that they are running up against within their own community. For instance, the first story in this bind-up is Bag o' Bones, and here Willingham writes, "This story was freely adapted from a couple of the Mountain Jack tales of American folklore. In true oral tradition, it has been much altered under my care, which is a polite way of saying that I stole everything I thought I could use, changed a bunch of stuff to suit my whims, and made up the rest." The very next story is a sharp operation in which Bigby Wolf and Briar Rose team up with some others to stop a man who is threatening to expose them to the rest of the world. My favorite story in this collection was Storybook Love, which comes in 4 parts, and it's when Goldilocks and Bluebeard team up against Bigby and Snow White. My least favorite story was Barleycorn Brides, which is basically a retelling of a folk song called John Barleycorn, and in it some small men look for and grow small brides. Overall, I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. Book number 5 was Signal to Noise by Sylvia Garcia-Moreno. I bought and read this in ebook format because my library did not have any copies of it. I first heard about this book because Rincy named it as her favorite book of 2015 in the collab that I put together of favorite reads of 2015. In 1988, we follow Meche, Sebastian, and Daniela, who are 3 best friends and kind of like social outcasts. They're not the most popular kids, and we watch them navigate complicated family relationships, crushes on the most popular kids in school, and their own friendship between the 3 of them. Also, they realize that they can harvest the magic of music to cast spells. From there, we jump to 2009 and Meche returning to Mexico City for her father's funeral. We know that something happened that caused a falling out between them in 1988, and now her returning for the first time in 2009, and as Meche confronts her past, we get a full picture of just what the consequences of playing with this kind of magic were. I really love this book, and immediately after finishing it, I rated it a 4.5 out of 5 stars, though I can't remember why I knocked off the half star because as of now, it has really settled into my feelings. This book was written by a Mexican-born author, and it is set in Mexico City. Because of that, and because the portion of it where they are teens is set in the 80s, in the late 80s, there was just a huge sense of nostalgia here for me. Granted, I was born in the late 80s and I've never been to Mexico City, but it just is a credit to her writing that there are so many things here that she captures the teen experience so well that I read it and I felt nostalgia. Garcia-Moreno did an excellent job of capturing the uncertainty of your teen years. At times as I was reading, it made me ache just kind of remembering being at that age and kind of stuck in a body that you're not comfortable with and having all of these feelings but not being able to express or communicate them. In that way, Meche was kind of a pain in the ass main character because she was stubborn and she just was kind of blind to the feelings and the wishes of others a lot of the times. I think that part of her was super understandable in 1988 but less so in 2009. I was less enchanted with Meche when she was an adult, and granted, she was coming back for the first time and kind of encountering this, which can't be an easy thing, but I was kind of like, okay girl. My expectation was that the magic was going to play a bigger role in the story than it actually did, so if you're considering reading this, it might be worth it to just kind of tweak that expectation. This read more like a contemporary, but overall I would classify it as magical realism. The music and magic serves kind of like a backdrop, but then the music and magic is also what keeps these kids together, gives them hope, and eventually draws them apart. If you are the type of reader that likes to extrapolate meaning, there is a lot of it, I'm sure, to be found here. Just about the kind of magic that it takes to bring people together and about the kind of things that we have to find within ourselves to not only love people but to cause them harm as well. I loved Meche and Sebastian as characters, and my main feeling when I left this book is that I could have spent so much more time with them and that I wanted to see more of them. I would highly recommend this read if you are a fan of coming of age stories, or if you like stories with a hint of magical realism or one element of magical realism in an otherwise straightforward story, or if you care about diversifying enjoying your reading and would be excited to read a book that has all Mexican main characters set in a city not in the United States, or if you are a little bit burnt out on YA and want a story that is not the typical of what is being produced right now. Book number 6 of the year for me was Rebel Spring by Morgan Rhodes. This is book number 2 in the Fallen Kingdom series, and I buddy read this with Kristen from What's Happening and Connor from Connor O'Brien. I'll be honest and say that I felt really bad while I was buddy reading them with this because I didn't have a ton of positive things to say, and I didn't want to be the buzzkill of the buddy read, especially since we have friends who really love this series. I know they're very cool about that whole thing, but I, within myself, just kind of felt bad always being like, but anyway, I did a full review on this, and you can click the link if you'd like to hear more about my thoughts about why this wasn't exactly for me. The writing style wasn't exactly for me. I didn't buy a lot of the character motivations, and in general, it was just kind of okay. I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to give this a 2.5 or a 3-star rating, but I think it's going to be 3 all said and done. I am all caught up to my reading now. I haven't finished anything else after Rebel Spring, but I am currently reading 3 more books. First, I'm still rereading The Knife of Never Letting Go for my reread project, though I'm taking this slower on purpose. Next, I am buddy reading My Brilliant Friend with Max from Well Done Books. I think we're both about a quarter through this story, but things keep drawing our attention because this one is a little bit slow to take off, so we will finish that one. And last, I'm listening to the audiobook of The Name of the Wind. I'm so engrossed in the story right now, it's kind of all I want to do, and it's a longer book, so that's why I've kind of not finished anything as I'm trying to make my way through this, but I am loving it. That's it. If you've read any of the books that I mentioned, as always, let's chat about them down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys soon. This is book number 2 in the Fallen Kingdom series, and I buddy read this book with Kristen from What's Happening and I almost called him Conan.